So, Lathan, what you just said is important. You just said that if you have 50% plus one vote, they can take away the rights of the other 49. Explain.
So in a pure democracy, then, and that's what the founders were suspicious of, so they incorporated democratic principles into our constitutional republic. But they were suspicious of democracy for that very reason, because they didn't want the majority to ever be able to take away the rights of the minority. And I think it's pretty easy for people to understand. You never know when your beliefs are going to be the ones in the minority. And so you don't want the majority to take away the rights of those in the minority. And that's why, at First Liberty, we defend religious liberty, right? You never know when it's your faith and your deeply held religious convictions that are the ones that are at odds with whatever the cultural orthodoxy is of the day on a whole host of issues. And so we want that principle to stand to protect everybody, regardless of whatever is politically popular at the time.
Well, what I love, too, about First Liberty, and enjoy my association with the group, because you don't just defend Christians.
Right.
You can defend synagogues, and you defend Muslims, and you stand for the Constitution. That's what you're defending.
Exactly. We have represented, multiple denominations of Christianity. We have several Orthodox Jewish clients right now, Sikhs, Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, a Native American sweat lodge. You name it, we have defended it because, as you said, we stand for the principle of religious liberty. It's not specific to one religion. If the Orthodox Jewish community can't host worship in their home, then neither can I.
Right.
So we defend that right for everyone because it applies to everyone, and that's what the founders intended. They didn't want there to be an official church in the United States, that's the Establishment Clause, but they wanted everybody to be able to live according to their own conscience. That's the Free Exercise Clause. Jefferson referred to religious liberty as the right of conscience. So really, that's a principle that even people who aren't particularly religious, that's why they should still care about religious liberty, because at its core, it's about living according to what you believe. And even if you're not a religious person, you likely have a set of beliefs you want to live your life by.
Right.
That's what that exists and protects for you.
So let's pick up the hot topic of the day, vaccine mandates, and the government's going to mandate that everybody take this vaccine. There's a religious issue there, isn't there?
Certainly. There have been, for many, many years, people of certain faith backgrounds that have opposition to vaccines. This particular vaccine seems to have created a lot of people studying the issue for the first time, and maybe they have never really decided what their faith taught them about vaccination, but they've now arrived at a religious conviction. And even if it's a brand new one, you still have the right to live according to it. And that's a well-established principle in the law, that there are accommodations that must be made for people who want to live according to a deeply held religious conviction.
Yeah, it's established in the law, but it's only established in the law if the court is honorable. Because a packed Supreme Court, the president could say, hey, look, they've stood against my vaccine mandate. I want to force it on everybody because I've got 50.1% of the population that elected me. And maybe they're not even behind me anymore. I mean, the popularity's dropped. He would not get 50% today in an election. But they could force it on you if the court would allow it. That's why the last hope, the last bastion, that's where you do business, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and as I said, at the very beginning, that's why the founders created the courts, theoretically, the non-political branch, so that when the people express popular will through their elected branches of government, the president and the legislature, but if they do so in a way that is contradictory to the Constitution, it's the judiciary's job to say no. You cannot do that. And they wrote into the Constitution, if the people want it bad enough, they can amend the Constitution. If the Supreme Court says no, the way the Constitution reads, you cannot do this, and the people want to do it bad enough.
But it's not an easy process.
No, it's not, nor should it be. Because, again, you don't want the Constitution being changed willy-nilly so that it means one thing this year and something completely different next year.
And changing the court should not be an easy process.